What's the first thing that springs to mind when we talk about food for the brain? Chances are it's fatty fish, rich in omega-3s. Right, we've heard it countless times. But what if I told you that the ultimate superfood for your memory and mental clarity doesn't swim in the ocean at all? What if the real hero is tucked away in the most ordinary section of the supermarket, and you probably walk right past it, completely unaware of its immense power? Today, we're going to bust that popular myth and uncover a secret that could fundamentally redefine how you think about brain nutrition. Prepare to be amazed. Let's be honest, fish and nuts have certainly earned their reputation. Omega-3 fatty acids and vitamin E are indeed vital. For decades, we've been told these are the cornerstones of a diet for a sharp mind. And while that information isn't false, it's incomplete. Science has come a long way, and recent research points to a completely different, far more potent player in this game. The secret, it turns out, isn't hidden in the brain itself, but in a place you might never expect. Your gut. Yes, you heard that right. The path to a brilliant mind starts with a healthy gut. So, drumroll please. What's the product we've been keeping under wraps? What's this secret ingredient capable of outperforming even the most nutritious fish? You're probably picturing some exotic berries from Tibet, rare algae from the ocean's depths, or maybe a pricey supplement in a flashy package. But the truth, as is often the case, is much simpler and closer than it seems. The star of our show today, a true champion for brain health, is fiber. Wait, don't sigh in disappointment just yet. I know that word doesn't sound nearly as exciting as antioxidants or polyunsaturated fatty acids. Fiber. Sounds like something straight out of a boring biology textbook. Something our grandmothers nagged us about while making us eat our oatmeal. But I'm asking you to give it a chance. Imagine your body is a complex machine, and your brain is the supercomputer that runs everything. Now all those trendy superfoods are like pretty stickers on the computer's casing. They might offer some benefits, but they don't impact its core operations. And fiber is the system administrator, an unsung hero, an absolutely indispensable employee who ensures the entire system runs smoothly, keeps inflammation at bay, and guarantees that supercomputer always has stable power. It's this humble workhorse that builds the essential foundation without which no upgrades or improvements will truly function. Okay, to truly understand its superpower, let's pull back the curtain a bit. What exactly is fiber from a technical perspective? It's not some complex chemical element. Simply put, it's the structural backbone of plants. It's what gives apple skins their firmness, celery stalks their satisfying crunch, and the outer layer of beans their robust texture. But here's its crucial defining characteristic, what truly sets it apart from almost everything else we eat. Our bodies cannot digest it. Imagine this: proteins, fats, simple carbohydrates. Our stomach and intestines use enzymes to break all of these down into tiny building blocks, absorbing them for energy. But fiber? It takes a different path. It simply passes through. Think of it as a steadfast traveler, journeying through every part of our digestive system, remaining virtually unaltered. Many people believe its sole purpose is simply to add bulk and, well, help keep things regular. And yes, it certainly does that. But that's really just a secondary and most apparent function. The real magic, the part that directly impacts your memory and mental clarity, actually begins much later, at the very end of this long journey. And that's where its ultimate secret truly unfolds. And this is where things get truly fascinating. To fully grasp how even a single, poorly digested piece of broccoli could be sabotaging your brilliant ideas, we need to dive into a concept that's completely revolutionizing our understanding of health. It's called the gut-brain axis. Imagine a two-way superhighway directly connecting your gut to your brain. This isn't just a metaphor, it's a very real, physical and chemical connection. Millions of signals race back and forth along this pathway 24/7. Nerve impulses, hormones, immune system molecules, they're all constantly traveling, creating an intricate, ongoing dialogue. For a long time, scientists considered this a one-way street. They believed the brain, acting as the central command center, simply dictated to the digestive system. Take stress, for instance. It often manifests as a stomachache, but recent breakthroughs have revealed a far more complex reality. It turns out the gut actually sends 9 times more information to the brain than it receives. Your gut isn't just a subordinate, it's an active reporter, constantly keeping your brain in the loop. And what it says directly impacts your mood, your anxiety levels, and crucially, your ability to think clearly and remember. And who are these mysterious dispatchers managing traffic on this superhighway and deciding which signals to send up to central office? Well, meet them. Your microbiome. This isn't just a random collection of bacteria. It's an entire living, breathing civilization within you. Trillions, just imagine, trillions of microscopic beings, bacteria, fungi, viruses, all living in your gut. There's so many of them that, in terms of cell count, they outnumber every single cell in your own body. So, it really begs the question, who's truly hosting whom? And in this colossal metropolis, just like any other, there are diverse inhabitants. You have the good guys, beneficial bacteria that work for the well-being of your entire organism, maintaining order and producing vital substances. Then there are the bad guys, opportunistic flora, simply waiting for the opportune moment to weaken your defenses and wreak havoc. It's precisely this balance of power between these two factions that determines what kind of messages your brain receives. Will it be a calm report assuring you that everything is under control, or will it be an urgent alarm signal, warning of internal turmoil and inflammation? So the crucial question is, how do we influence this balance of power? How do we support the good guys and keep the bad guys from taking over? The answer, surprisingly, is quite simple. We just need to feed them the right way. This immense civilization living inside us completely relies on what we send them for lunch. And this is where fiber truly takes center stage. Remember how we said our own bodies can't digest it? Well, for our microbiome, that's not a bug, it's a feature. In fact, it's its greatest strength. Because fiber isn't absorbed in the upper digestive tract, it travels all the way, perfectly intact, right to the very end, precisely where the majority of our bacterial allies make their home. And for them, it's an absolute feast. Fiber is their favorite dish, their superfood, their ultimate delicacy. This is the exact nourishment that allows the beneficial strains of bacteria to thrive, multiply, and grow strong. You are in essence making a precision delivery of the finest fuel straight to your allies' doorstep, empowering them with the resources they need to carry out their vital work. So what about the bad guys? Oh, their tastes are far more primitive. Their go-to fuel? Simple sugars and processed foods. Think cakes, pastries, sugary drinks, and fast food. For them, it's like a high-calorie performance enhancer. Feasting on this diet, they multiply at an incredible rate, quickly crowding out beneficial bacteria and colonizing more and more territory. Picture a battlefield. When you opt for a salad, whole grain bread, or lentil soup, you're essentially airdropping crates of provisions and ammunition to your army. Your soldiers are well-fed, strong, and perfectly positioned to defend their territory. But the moment you indulge in a big slice of cake or down a can of soda, you're essentially sending a massive humanitarian convoy straight to the enemy's camp. Their forces receive a huge boost, their numbers surge, they grow bolder and begin to wreak havoc. This imbalance is precisely what scientists refer to as dysbiosis. And this internal chaos in your gut becomes the source of countless problems that, like ripples across a pond, eventually reach your brain. Okay, so we've fed our good bacteria with delicious and beneficial fiber. They're full, happy, and actively multiplying. What happens next? They start to show their gratitude, and they do this in a very unique way, by producing specific substances that play a colossal role in the health of our entire body. These substances are called short-chain fatty acids, or SCFAs for short. You'll want to remember that name, because these are true biochemical superheroes. When beneficial bacteria digest fiber, they release these very SCFAs. The most well-known among them are butyrate, propionate, and acetate. And these molecules? They're the couriers speeding along our gut-brain highway with excellent news. They're absorbed into the bloodstream and carried throughout the body, performing dozens of vital functions. But today, we're focusing on their direct impact on the brain. And that impact, trust me, is enormous. The star player among these heroes is butyrate. Let's take a closer look at butyrate. This short-chain fatty acid is a true gift from our gut microbiome. Once it enters the bloodstream, it embarks on a journey throughout the body, with one of its most crucial destinations being the brain. What exactly does it do there? Firstly, butyrate is a vital energy source. It acts as an alternative fuel for brain cells, helping them function more efficiently. But that's not all it does. It also acts as a powerful protector. Butyrate activates genes responsible for producing what's known as brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF. While that sounds complex, think of it as a super fertilizer for your neurons. This substance stimulates the growth of new nerve cells and the formation of new connections between them, a crucial process that underpins learning and memory. Put simply, when your gut bacteria produce enough butyrate, your brain literally becomes more plastic, more adept at learning, and better protected against age-related decline. It's like constantly updating the software and hardware of your internal computer, ensuring it always operates at peak performance. Now, for another incredibly important role these short-chain fatty acids play. They strengthen what's known as the blood-brain barrier. Let's take a closer look at what that is. Imagine your brain is a top-secret government facility, the command center where all your most critical decisions are made. Naturally, such a vital site needs robust protection from any external threats. Well, the blood-brain barrier is precisely that elite security force, standing guard. It's a dense, cellular filter that surrounds the brain's blood vessels, carefully deciding what can pass through and what must be blocked. It allows essential oxygen and nutrients to enter, while effectively shutting out toxins, harmful microbes, and other dangerous elements that might be circulating in your bloodstream. And here's where butyrate and other SCFAs come in. They act like a master trainer for this security force. They make the connections between the barrier's cells much tighter and more robust. Essentially, they patch up any holes in the fence, preventing undesirable elements from infiltrating this highly protected area. A strong, intact barrier is your brain's guarantee that nothing harmful gets in, preventing inflammation and protecting its intricate, delicate operations. Speaking of inflammation, let's delve a little deeper into this crucial topic. Chronic low-grade inflammation is arguably one of the biggest threats to our health in the 21st century. It's at the root of most modern illnesses, from heart disease to autoimmune conditions, and your brain is certainly no exception. When dysbiosis takes hold in the gut, meaning bad bacteria outnumber the good, the intestinal lining becomes more permeable. This phenomenon is commonly known as leaky gut syndrome. Through these leaks, undigested food particles and toxins produced by harmful bacteria can enter the bloodstream. Naturally, our immune system reacts to these invaders by launching an inflammatory response. And this inflammatory fire isn't confined to the gut alone. Inflammatory molecules known as cytokines travel through the bloodstream throughout the body. They can even cross a weakened blood-brain barrier, leading to what's called neuroinflammation. And inflammation in the brain is a direct pathway to brain fog, issues with concentration, poor memory, and even depression. By properly nourishing our microbiome, we are, in essence, extinguishing this inflammatory fire right at its source. And here's another fascinating fact that truly highlights just how crucial gut health is. Do you know where the majority of your body's serotonin is produced? Serotonin is a neurotransmitter, often dubbed the happiness hormone. It's responsible for our good mood, feelings of calm, and overall well-being. Now, contrary to the popular belief that all such chemicals are produced solely in the brain or glands, around 90% of all serotonin is actually synthesized. Yes, you guessed it, in your gut. Specialized cells lining your intestines are responsible for producing this vital chemical. And what's even more fascinating is that their function is directly influenced by the state of your gut microbiome. Beneficial bacteria stimulate these cells, helping them produce adequate amounts of serotonin. When your gut is balanced, your happiness hormone levels are stable, and we naturally feel good. But when chaos reigns in your gut, serotonin production is disrupted. So, your good mood, your ability to enjoy life, and your capacity to handle stress literally originate in your belly. And that's yet another reason why a fiber-rich diet is so important, not just for memory, but for your entire emotional well-being. Now let's put all the pieces of this puzzle into place. Picture this ideal scenario. You consistently eat fiber-rich foods. Your beneficial gut bacteria are flourishing. They produce an abundance of short-chain fatty acids, including the wonder molecule butyrate. What happens as a result? First, systemic inflammation throughout your body is minimized. Second, your blood-brain barrier becomes as strong as a fortress, effectively blocking anything harmful from entering your brain. Third, serotonin production is optimized, leading to a consistently positive mood. So, what's the ultimate payoff from all this? And here it is, the very outcome we've all been striving for. Your concentration improves. Your thoughts become sharper and clearer. That unwelcome brain fog lifts, the one that makes it hard to focus and articulate your thoughts. Your memory functions better because your brain is in an optimal, non-inflamed environment, allowing neural connections to form and strengthen without hindrance. You become more productive, calmer, and more energetic, and all of this simply by properly nourishing your tiny allies. To keep things from sounding too abstract, let's consider a simple, tangible example. Imagine an apple, a regular, juicy apple. When you eat it whole, peel and all, what does your body receive? You get vitamins, some simple sugars for a quick energy boost, and, of course, fiber, pectin from the flesh, and insoluble fiber from the skin. This fiber then travels to your microbiome, providing a fantastic meal for your gut bacteria. Now imagine you took that very same apple, juiced it, and drank the result. What do you get in that scenario? Practically the same array of vitamins, but you've discarded nearly all the fiber with the pulp. Essentially, what entered your body was sweet water with vitamins. The quick sugars will cause a sharp spike in insulin, and your microbiome will receive absolutely nothing. That's the difference. A whole, unprocessed product nourishes both you and your gut bacteria. A processed product, stripped of its fiber, primarily feeds just you, and not always in the most optimal way, leaving your crucial allies hungry. All right, so we've covered apples, but where else can we uncover this nutritional gold? The truth is, the real fiber powerhouses aren't just fruits and vegetables. Let me introduce you to some true titans in this category, incredibly affordable and remarkably nutritious. I'm talking about legumes, lentils, beans, chickpeas, and peas. These are pure fiber powerhouses. Just one serving of lentil soup or hummus can easily cover a significant portion of your daily needs. They're not just feeding your gut microbiome. They're also giving you slow-release carbs for lasting energy and quality plant protein. It's the ultimate food package, cheap, satisfying, and incredibly beneficial for your entire system, from your gut to your brain. Adding them to your diet couldn't be easier. Toss a handful of canned beans into your salad. Whip up a comforting lentil soup for lunch. Make some homemade hummus and enjoy it with veggie sticks. These simple changes can dramatically transform your gut microbiome for the better, and in turn, significantly boost your brain function. It's a prime example of how budget-friendly food can deliver maximum health returns. What's really important to grasp is that it's not just about the amount of fiber, but its variety. Let's go back to our analogy of the bustling metropolis inside you. This city is home to diverse specialists, different kinds of beneficial bacteria, and each group has its own unique dietary preferences. Some bacteria absolutely love the pectin found in apples and citrus fruits. Others prefer the inulin from onions, garlic, and chicory. A third group thrives on resistant starch, which forms in cooled potatoes or rice. And yet others specialize in the fiber from oats or legumes. So, if you only eat, say, apples, you'll be feeding just one faction of your internal army. To maintain a healthy and diverse ecosystem, you need to feed them a wide variety of foods. There's a simple rule for this. Eat the rainbow. Try to ensure that throughout the week, your plate includes fruits, vegetables, and greens of many different colors. Think red tomatoes, orange carrots, yellow bell peppers, green broccoli, and purple eggplant. Each color typically indicates the presence of specific plant compounds and types of fiber. The more varied your plant-based diet, the happier and more diverse your microbiome will be. So what happens when your diet consistently lacks fiber? The picture, as you might expect, is quite the opposite, and frankly, pretty grim. Imagine you cut off the supply lines to your allied army. Over time, they'd start to weaken and starve. The same happens with your gut. The population of good bacteria dwindles. That empty space doesn't stay empty for long. The bad guys quickly move in, and their population explodes. They thrive on a diet of sugar and processed foods, the very things often replacing whole, plant-based foods. This imbalance, also known as dysbiosis, triggers a whole cascade of negative consequences. Firstly, the production of crucial short-chain fatty acids plummets. Your brain loses a vital source of fuel and protection. Secondly, these bad bacteria produce toxins that increase the permeability of your intestinal lining. This leads to chronic inflammation, which, as we know, doesn't just stay in the gut, but makes its way to the brain. The result is that dreaded brain fog, memory impairment, mood swings, and a constant feeling of fatigue. It's a direct path to cognitive decline. However, it's crucial to make one important point here, so you don't get the wrong idea. Switching to a fiber-rich diet is not a magic pill. Don't expect to eat a plate of broccoli tonight and wake up a genius tomorrow morning. That's not how it works. Restoring a healthy microbiome is a process. It's like planting a neglected garden with new, beneficial plants. First, you need to prepare the soil, then plant the seeds, and then regularly water and care for them. It takes time for them to take root, grow, and start bearing fruit, pushing out the weeds. It's the same story with your gut. The effect of dietary changes is cumulative. You might feel the first positive changes within a few weeks, but a fundamental overhaul of your gut ecosystem can take months of consistent and varied nutrition. So it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. It's a long-term game, an investment in your health and mental clarity for years to come. But believe me, this investment is one of the most rewarding you can make. So does this mean we should stop eating fish altogether now? Should we throw out all our fish oil and forget about omega-3s? Absolutely not. Let's not jump to extremes. Omega-3 fatty acids, especially those found in fish, are still incredibly important. They're vital building blocks for our neuron membranes and possess powerful anti-inflammatory properties. Cutting them out of your diet would be a significant mistake. We simply need to look at the bigger picture now. Imagine you're building a house for your brain. Fiber and a healthy microbiome. They're your strong, reliable foundation. Without that, everything else will be shaky and ineffective. And omega-3s, vitamins, and antioxidants from berries are your quality bricks, windows, and roof. They are also absolutely essential for building a good home. The point is, you can't build strong walls on a weak foundation. First, we get the basics right, our gut health, with fiber. Only then do we add the other beneficial building materials. One doesn't exclude the other. They perfectly complement each other. Now you have the complete recipe, not just part of it. And now, for the big reveal. The most significant turning point in all of this is, for decades, we've been trying to feed our brains directly, searching for magic foods packed with brain-boosting vitamins. But it turns out, the most effective way to improve memory and thinking isn't by feeding ourselves, but by nourishing the trillions of tiny allies living in our gut. What truly fuels your brain is actually the food you provide for your bacteria. The realization that the key to our mental clarity lies in the hands of these microscopic organisms, which we can support with everyday foods like oats, apples, and beans. That's the real revolution in how we understand health. So, here's the takeaway. Want to improve your memory, focus, and mood? Stop searching for that one magical superfood. Instead, focus on adding diverse sources of fiber to your diet every single day: vegetables, fruits, whole grains, and legumes. Feed your tiny helpers, and they'll take care of your mind. It's simpler, cheaper, and far more effective in the long run. Thank you for sticking with us until the end of this video. If you learned something new and will now look at your salad a little differently, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our upcoming myth-busting health discussions. And now, a question for you. What's your favorite fiber-rich food? Share it in the comments below, and let's gather the most delicious and healthy ideas together.